We are counting down the days to Rebelcon, and virtual passes are now available at an early bird discount of $200 off the normal ticket price. This virtual pass gets you live access to all general sessions with our expert keynote speakers, as well as links to view the sessions later. This deal will end soon, so get your Rebelcon virtual passes now. Hit the QR code for more info or visit rebelcon.marketrebellion.com.
Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take for Market Rebellion on this Tuesday morning. Yesterday, we were a nice, solid start to the day after a very big week last week. We had a big move across just about every index to the upside. Very strong when you were looking at the Dow with 700 plus points that it added. But that strong week, you know what? It eased back a little bit early. We were down about 200 points. Nothing big, not a big problem. Boy, did that flip around in a hurry. And we actually started to sprint to the upside about 2 hours into the trading day. And by the time we got there, boy, we were flirting with and actually went up to that 34,000 level, closed up 150 points on the day. The NASDAQ, it was up nearly 80 points. That closed nearly at the highs of the day as well. So a little bit of a turnaround specifically for the Dow and a really nice move to the upside, adding to what we had seen last week. We had crude, which we thought was going to maybe pull on the markets a little bit potentially. It really did not. And crude still yesterday, at least, was hanging right around that 88 level. And now we were going from 92 to 88. We've been bouncing around a little bit. John and I covered this on the Rebel's Edge yesterday as well. Bitcoin, though, holding up at that 24,000 level. Nat gas trading right around that 880 level. So we've got a lot of things in play right now. You got the 2-year and the 10-year just continue to be pretty slow movers, but moving up just a little bit. You've got that 2-year at a 3.2. You got the 10-year right around that 2.8. Volatility just underneath 20. And that's been something we've been focusing on as well. Watching that volatility index as it's approached 20 now, breaching and getting underneath that 20 level. We'll see how sustainable that is as we continue to get through. It is a time where we are seeing a slow movement and a slowing in the volumes in the stock market side. The option side, however, continue to be very strong, although we did pull back a little bit yesterday. We only traded 37 million contracts yesterday, but that's still a decent number. That is underneath the year-to-date average. That is underneath what we've seen so far in August. But nonetheless, 37 million contracts, nothing to sneeze at. Energy really was kind of the story, at least early on, where we were down almost 4%. We actually recovered. We finished the day down, call it about 2%. It was Conoco, it was Chevron, it was Exxon, it was BP, it was Oxy. A lot of those beta names, there was a lot of pressure there. We were down a little bit in terms of the materials, down about 1% early on, finished closer to flat. It was letter X, U.S. Steel. It was Freeport McMoran throwing a little bit of cliffs. The financials also were down about 1%. They improved. So you could see where we were early on in the day, that first hour or so. But as we got through the day, we started to accelerate a little bit more to the upside. Matter of fact, technology completely flipped from being in negative territory to being up nearly a little bit more than 0.5% yesterday. It was Apple, it was Tesla, it was Twitter, it was Snap, it was all those names. We did also get a nice bounce back yesterday from Illumina. That was a name that took it on the chin previously. Got a little bit of a bounce back yesterday. We had Gilead, Vertex, Moderna, all in positive territory. I mentioned Tesla was one of those strength areas for technology. Visa as well had a great day. Throw in Zoom, throw in Disney, a little bit of, I'll tell you what was interesting was looking at some of those staples, and we look at something like McDonald's and Coca-Cola having a pretty decent day. I will say, though, when you look at those beta energy names, if you thought Chevron and some of those were getting hit, some of those betas, I mentioned Oxy already, but Valero and Marathon Oil, throwing a little Halliburton, you get the idea. Those beta names, they move as with that beta to the upside, but they also move just as fast to the downside under certain circumstances. Also, take a look at Dow. That was one of those that was pulling on the markets just a little bit. I'm talking about Dow, the chemical company, not the Dow Industrials. Now, started off Monday, as we said, kind of solid. We got a little bit of a base. We moved up. We were in positive territory. That was good. A little bit of pressure early on in the markets. We were looking at a Dow down about 60 points, nothing big about that. Had the NASDAQ down about 30 points. The NASDAQ has continued in this first hour to melt a little lower, little lower, little lower. As a matter of fact, it's gone through that progression for an hour into this first hour of the day. Last I looked, it was down about 110 for the NASDAQ. So that's starting to build into something, actually. The Dow actually started moving around and flipped pretty nice in positive territory. Last I looked, it was up about 85 points. I think part of seeing what we're seeing going on in terms of the Dow side of things is really when you look at crude, it's been edging higher. It's up near that 89.50 level. Nat gas, continue to keep that in mind because Nat gas now up a 5% move to the upside. We mentioned 880 yesterday. Here it is trading right around near that 9.25 level. Bitcoin still kind of hugging right up against that 24,000. The 2s and 10s, not really doing a whole lot. We're not going to waste any time with that from yesterday. But consumer discretion did ease back a little bit into the day. I think you're seeing a lot of that reaction right now when you're seeing what's going on with the NASDAQ. You have the staples starting to move to the upside, nearly a 1% move. Energy making that move as well, nearly a 1% move to the upside. But it's technology as well pulling on the markets. It was down about 0.5%. Now it's down about 0.9% to the downside, might even be a little bit further right now. Industrials did pick up just a little bit, but the focus today certainly was back to earnings. And we are in the retail part of earnings season right now. Got some great numbers from Walmart, got some great numbers from Home Depot, and that's reflected in what we are seeing early on with a really nice move to the upside from Walmart, from Home Depot. Target's getting a little bit of a pull along as well. They haven't reported yet, but Target's getting pulled up with what's happened with Walmart and some of the report that they had there. Let's not forget, Walmart did pause. Target warned quite a while ago. Walmart did also warn not too terribly long ago, and yet they came through pretty nicely, showing just how fast things can change. And the customers, some of the lower margin items, all of that, they did have the glut of inventory, all of that, but they've navigated extremely well. You've got to give them a lot of credit. It is kind of a retail world, whereas in terms of what we're seeing, sort of the leadership role right now, it's names like Ross Stores, it's Ulta. I mentioned already Home Depot, Walmart, and Target, but you've also got Lulu. You've also got Costco. We also have Pepsi hitting all-time highs today in terms of some of that staples area as well. So there is that the what's really working, what's not. What's not really working right now? How about Zoom down about 5% today? Datadog under pressure. Some of those Chinese names again under pressure. We've talked about that time and time again. Seems like it's one step forward, two steps back of late in terms of what's going on with some of those Chinese names. But I look at JD, PDD, Baidu, all negative territory. Visa, a little bit of a pause from yesterday on that nice move. Salesforce pausing a little bit as well, along with 3M. We do have Rebel's Edge coming at you today around 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. It's going to be great. We've got the 4 topics that we're going to hit. Can guess that one of them might be in the retail space. We also will have 2 unusuals, and we'll talk a little bit of sports. And we've already got a lot of this already mapped out. A lot of interesting things to cover. That's on the Rebel's Edge. You're going to want to tune into that right at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Here's 2 unusuals from me right now. FUBO TV, that's number 1. This one's pretty interesting. It's trading just beneath $5 a share, $4.75. They bought 21,500 of the August 5 calls. Now, remember, the regular expiring August, that is this Friday. This is the 3rd Friday. That's the normal expiration cycle. That's where we're seeing these calls. So they don't have a whole lot of time. Got 4 days. They don't have to make a real big move. Those options, by the way, were going for 12 cents up to about 30 cents. So relatively inexpensive, but needs to make a move in the next few days to be able to become something that's profitable. But a very nice, large 21,000 plus options trading there. Next up, we talked about retail a little bit. How about GES? GES is pretty interesting, trading right above $20. $20.60 is where it was. Had a buyer of 4,000. They're actually going out a little bit. That's unusual. It's a name we don't see very often. That's also unusual. They're buying the September 19 calls. Also unusual. They are buying a call that's already in the money. So you're looking for delta. If you don't know what that means, You want to get educated. I talk about that each and every day when we talk about unusual option activity. But an in-the-money call means that it moves a lot closer to how stock will move to the upside. And that is an in-the-money call. So it will move much closer to the way stock moves to the upside. Somebody looking for a little bit of leverage here. They bought 4,000 of these September 19 calls. Those are going for around $2.25. Also interesting and a little unusual is they're going out to September, and yet they're going to be reporting earnings just next week on the 24th. So a lot of things about that trade, just definitely worth pointing out, and definitely an interesting trade that we don't see as often, those in the money trades. We do see them occasionally, but not nearly as often as looking out of the money, whether it's calls or puts. In this case, it's calls, and they went in the money on those. Folks, have a great day of trading. Look forward to seeing you on the Rebel's Edge, noon Central, 1 Eastern. See you then.